Did you ever try to boil 5 gallons of water with a flashlight? It took 3 days.
Did you ever dry hop with your mouth, pussy?
Welcome back to the Jojatorium. Well, I think, remember too, whenever we found the German Scheiser corn. Let's not lie to each other. You're in twerk classes over there. That's
Yeah. That's all it is.
The fitness class.
Working on them TikTok videos you like so much.
Dead face.
Got right in front of you.
Welcome back to the Jojatorium. You know who it is. It's Adam. It's Matt. We're decaying with the boys. And whether you like it or not, learn to love it because it's the best thing going. Woo! Do you love to homebrew? How about learning about beer and how it goes from grains to your glass? Do you want to check out some of the most influential ambassadors of the homebrew scene? Well, now's your chance. Because HomebrewCon is not like the other homebrew fests and competitions you've seen before. So from June 23rd to June 25th, the 44th annual HomebrewCon will have keynote speakers from Westchester University, Omega Yeast, Cicerone Certification Programming, Victory Brewing, Grainworks Brewing, Yakima, False Bottom Girls, and so much more. Come try some of the most experimental beers in the scene, learn something new, make some vital connections, and rub elbows with brewing elite. And you also get to party down with some of the best brewers in the brewing game. Tickets are still available, and you can get yours right now by heading over to homebrewcon.org. Just make sure you tell them that the boys sent you. We are back, and we do have a guest, and we have a lovely guest who invited us to his brand new spot.
Pretty sexy, huh?
It's so sexy.
It's looking good.
I'm loving this so much. So we are on location at the soon-to-be-open Arboretum Trail, and we are joined by the wonderful Ben Steffen, head brewer, co-owner. Is that accurate? I'm saying that?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, basically everything except for artwork.
Yeah. Also artist. He's being humble.
No.
But so thank you so much for allowing us to come in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You were just on not too long ago, and you broke some really cool news, so it was nice for you to have us come back, and we get to talk to you more about what your journey and how things are going, man. So before we get started, let's drop all your socials. There's still support to be had, so go ahead and lay it out for everybody where they can find you and your beer.
Yeah, so we got Instagram and Facebook. It's Arboretum Trail Brewing Co. Our website, arboretumtrailbrewing.com. We have about 15 different distributors carrying our beer, mainly Duffy's and Zoe's down in the South Hills. Mike's Beer Bar, we're always on tap. Hampton Beer Outlet, and various others that I know I'm going to forget, a couple out there. But, hit up our website. Everybody's listed on there, and find out where our beer's at.
Wonderful. Yeah, and if you want to, I think Mike's Beer Barn is where I think I've had your stuff first. The very first time I was down at Mike's Beer Barn, which is awesome. Bar. I apologize.
It's not a barn. It's by the stadium.
That's where I'm from.
No barn. Yeah. Barns are out by you.
Yeah. That's where I'm from. So we are going to get into this incredible journey that you had going from the oven to the garage to now this great space. But before we do, we are in your home, and you prepared some delicious beers for us. So you got beers. It's round one. Put them together. Round one beers. What we got?
See, I knew that was coming. I've done this before now.
Hey, you know what? Scissor me, beer daddy.
Didn't scare the shit out of me this time.
I'm scared.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, beer. Cowgirl Candy. So if you did not go to Best Brunch Ever, which is probably the best festival ever put on, this is a 10% American barley wine with candied bacon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
We started right off the cliff. There's no easing into this one.
Will you hold me later?
Yeah. and drag both of you the degenerates out of here.
I was ready to say, you definitely started off with a banger, man. The whole flavor profile is there. It's a
crazy beer. It took, I want to say, all of 3 weeks to really round itself out in the tank. I mean, I was getting a little worried there for a while. But it calmed itself down enough I was good to package it.
Yeah.
Took it to Best Brunch. Got mixed reviews. Some people love it. Shout out to John Ruber. Other people fucking hated it. Said it was bacon water. which
That sounds amazing.
after drinking, after drinking 18 sours, it probably did taste like water. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Some people were wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all
We
right.
don't believe in you.
Some people have opinions, and some of those are wrong.
Yeah, those ones.
I think it's good, and like having it, I had it at the festival, and having it on a blank palate, I get a lot more of the candied part of the bacon.
Yeah.
Because at the festival, I got a lot of the bacon and a lot of the smoke, and it was still wonderful. But it's
So-
more. There's more flavors there.
So it is actually candied bacon. Maryland's on Main in Uniontown.
Oh, yeah.
Has some of the best candied bacon around. I can vouch for it because I ate probably 15 pieces while we were brewing. There should have been more in there, but they use this concoction of, I think it's honey, brown sugar, cayenne, and whatever babies are made out of. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get that smokiness all throughout, and it lingers after you take your sip. It makes you want to come back for more, and that barley wine sting on it too. This is such a good beer. Thank you for pouring it out for us. I am very worried though that if this is the first beer that we're gonna have,
It only goes up from here.
shit. So I'm going to ask you important questions then while we have our minds
Yeah.
about ourselves. So
Absolutely.
again, this is your home, but it's no secret this place was Couch.
Yep.
So you had to come in here and you were tasked with making this place your own. Clearly you have. And there's going to be shots here throughout this episode where I'm going to take some shots. And you guys can see how this has changed over. But I got to know, what have you done decor-wise to bring your flair to the establishment?
So, I mean, honestly, people that were used to going to Couch probably won't recognize it. All different colors. We painted the floors, no more blue floor. As soon as the shipping wars come to an end, we'll have some tabletops and some new chairs, some new stools. So, honestly, the only thing, I don't know if they can see it, the black couch in the back, that's really the last...
You can see it right here. I'll take a shot of it. They'll
Yeah.
see it right there.
There it is, right there. We made a little kind of a cozy nook with a fireplace and everything, but that's the only piece that stayed.
Cool, man. Yeah. So then, I know this place had its flair and the previous owner, and you, and like I said, you've clearly taken it over. And you said, was that the only piece you kept, or were there other things that you kept from Couch at all?
Well, the only piece out here, some of the brewing equipment, obviously fermenters stayed, some pumps and filters and things of that nature. But it was pretty much a clean house, 3 dumpsters worth of stuff.
Yeah. So then the process of like fully redesigning the place, like picking the colors and where you wanted to go with it, because Arboretum Trail is very focused on outdoorsy, woodsy. So did you like link up with your artist that you usually have for your cans to kind of work on some stuff?
So actually, we were my business partner and I were at Lowe's getting paint for something else, and he was like, "Oh, we should pick out wall colors." I was like, "All right." I grabbed like 4 swatches. I was like, "What do you think?" He said, "Maybe this or this," and I said, "Let's this and this." Okay, it was done.
Wow. That's
That was. Now I'll roll that back. My wife did suggested the sage green, so you see that kind of behind where Matt is there. That was kind of her call. And we did actually pick a sage green, but the brown was, completely on the fly.
I would love to go out to eat with you. Be like, Ben, where do you want to eat? McDonald's.
Boom, done.
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 In and out of here.
Yep.
So let's get a little nerdy here because we're all beer heads. You guys more than me. I'm more of a customer. You guys are the guys who make this stuff. So
Dishwasher.
I am a dishwasher. Well, no. I am a tank cleaner.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cellarman. That's the
You're
cellarman.
a cellarman.
There you go.
Is that actually a term?
Yes.
Yeah, but you're not like.
Come on.
You're not kegging my beer, or even cleaning my kegs yet. You're an assistant cellarman.
Ooh.
Sounds really fancy.
It's way better.
It does.
It's way better than best dishwasher ever.
Yeah.
But I am that too.
All right.
So clearly you upgraded here. So prior to the, when you came here, it looks like you definitely upgraded the output here. So how much beer can you make right now as we sit in your brew house?
So if I'm working at a pretty high pace, I could do about 750 barrels a year with my current setup. So I brought the 3.5 barrel fermenters from my house over, and then I kept all of Couch's 7 barrel equipment. So if we're hustling, I'm pretty comfortable saying we could put out 750.
Wow. And that's got to be a huge up from.
Maximum, I think we would have done 175, and that's without working full-time jobs and everything, living in the basement.
I was going to say, just what was already here would have been double your output from your house,
easily.
and then you brought the house stuff over too.
Yeah,
so it's,
that's insane.
Yeah, it's a packed room back there with tanks now. It's looking good.
And you can see that room space right here because I'm going to take another shot and put it right there.
Right there.
So with that new space, are you able to kind of expand what you make? Are you going to challenge yourself a little more? Is there anything kind of in the workings for you?
Yeah, no, it completely changes everything. So obviously with the extra tank space, little tanks are going to be kind of devoted at first to doing some lagers, definitely some barrel aging. I'm sure you'll take a shot of my racks that are back there, right there. I got a little nutty with them at the beginning. I've had to hold back a little bit, but those are going to get filled pretty quick and get ready for some events down the road, near and far.
Wonderful. Yeah. So is there any one particular beer that you kind of have an idea on, if you could talk about it, that you really want to put out for people that you weren't able to make before that you want to make now?
That lagers, the whole line. I mean, I had an Oktoberfest as a home brewer that I just didn't have room and time to do. Now I can actually, sit something back for a couple months. That'll probably be the first lager that you see come out. It's going to be an Oktoberfest, and then I'll try to do a fest beer if I can squeeze it in.
Wonderful. So with new spaces comes new equipment. With that new equipment comes some splurges. So looking back at all that equipment, what's the one thing you really spent a lot of money on back there that you wanted?
Those barrels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't tell my business partner what how much I spent on those, but yeah, it's an investment.
We won't.
He doesn't look at the invoices, so that's
perfect.
Good. But no, it's enough for right now.
Good.
But yeah, we'll keep that running pretty hard.
I usually use the Bash Brew company credit card to buy stuff too that I don't tell Adam about.
We don't even have barrels.
Yeah.
If a barrel shows up at my house, I'm going to have some questions.
The things I buy with your credit card will not show up at your house. I promise you that. They're going to my house.
I got a 15-gallon one you can have.
Ooh. It's going to be a big brew day. We're going to have to brew twice to fill that, but we can do that.
That's okay.
So with that new equipment and you've expanded here, and you already talked about doing some lagers here, did you look at your former set of equipment and decide like, hey, listen, you were working hard for me before, but I got to cut you from the team? Did you leave anything behind?
So since your co-host was there when we were moving equipment, I feel like he was a fucking traitor.
Oh yeah.
So that's cool.
Cool.
No,
I did not.
You didn't tell him?
I did not feed him that question. I didn't tell him that. I didn't tell him that something didn't make
juicy.
it out.
Okay, do it. What happened?
All right, fine. Fucking guys. So in my mind, I was completely convinced that this commercial refrigerator that I have in my garage fits through the door that's there now. Apparently, the real story is that door wasn't there when I first brought it in, and then I put the door there. So we get that thing to the door, and we tried, and it wasn't coming out.
And almost crushed ourselves.
Yeah, almost killed
Took
ourselves.
the doors off the hinges and everything, trying to get it out.
So, and this is just for your editing session, but it's the only time in my life where I was told it was too big. So
That's staying in.
All right. I'm never sure what's allowed. So
you can say anything you want.
I love it. So the funny story about that is, so that thing lasted a year. It was a Haas, kept everything good for us. I put it back against the wall, or we put it back against the wall, and it stopped working.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, at least now you can take it out in pieces.
Yeah. So if I can't get the thermostat to stop freezing itself, it's coming out in pieces.
Oh wow, man. That sucks, because that sounds like that would really come in handy, especially when you're
it'd have been great here, because, I have 2 walk-ins, but that third fridge would have been good for yeast and in my hops and stuff. So it is what it is. I have room.
It was, I sound like a complete traitor, but I did not tell Matt about that.
No, I
honestly forgot about that after getting everything in here. I was just so happy we got everything else here. So.
Well, I'm happy I wrote that question, because that's a
good one.
Stirring the pot.
You're really making me look like a Benedict Cumberbatch, big old traitor.
You might have the wrong guy. I don't know.
No, that's his name. That's
Definitely.
His,
He's a
yeah.
traitor too.
He's a super.
He's one of those.
super traitor.
He's one of those dumb Brits.
I think he played Dr. What. So, is there?
Dr. Howe.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Shit.
Is there anything that you are still looking forward to buying to bring into this new space? I mean, I know talking to Adam that a brewer's desire to buy new equipment never dies.
Never.
And just because you have this set up now does not mean that your brain is still not just turning the gears. So what's one thing you really want to get in here?
So I am getting a new canning line.
Nice. Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't make sense to spend 12 to 15 hours per batch canning.
Yeah.
I just, with everything out here, and then obviously up to production, we just don't, it's not feasible.
Yeah.
It's not efficient. So that will hopefully be here, I would say end of July.
Okay.
So we'll kind of muddle through what we have. We won't do a ton of cans, enough just to keep our distributors happy and do some of the cans over the bar. But once that comes, we'll really still be able to pump out some cans.
So right now, the canning system that you have, is it like a single fill kind of thing? Or
It's
how's that working?
it's a dual head counter pressure filler, but it's more or less a one person operation. And to do 25 cases, it takes, I mean, a good 12 to 15 hours with
wow.
rolling the labels and everything. It's just, like I said, it can be a one person job, but with everything else that's encompassed with, increased space, production, and having a tap room, it just doesn't make sense for any of us to stand back there and burn an entire day.
Because speed really does play a factor here, especially when you want to push product out.
I want to say efficiency matters. I mean, speed isn't always good.
Would you say like the efficiency that comes with, or the speed that comes with efficiency then is more of a better way to say
As long as
that?
the quality doesn't suffer.
Right, yeah. So then the new canning system that you're getting, I'm interested in the canning side of it because that's something I didn't really get to do too much. So the system that you're getting now, is that going to be like one of those belt feed, or is it?
No, it's a smaller one. It's called a Gosling.
Okay.
So it's about as big as this table that we're at now, maybe a little bit bigger. But usually takes 1 to 2 people to run it. They do have some add-ons. I didn't get them put on the initial order. But basically one person will run the fill side, and then the other person will run the dispensing side, cans coming off. And, if we have some extra help, we can, have somebody rolling labels.
That's cool, man.
instantaneous and getting the toppers on and everything. So
That's how you get your experience.
Yeah.
Come and roll some labels.
I would love to. It's something I didn't really get a chance to do. I was invited out a couple times, but it was like during times I couldn't come down, like during COVID and everything.
It's on your way home.
Yeah, it actually.
From day jobs.
Yeah, I could definitely swing through. I'd love to. If you'll have me, I would
Absolutely.
love to help out. But yeah, the canning side of things and like distribution are things that I'm really interested in because and we'll see in the second half here. There are some questions from people who listen to us about the difference between like cans and bottles and crowlers and stuff. So, just I want to get a hands-on experience with how those all change up. So, other than the canning, then, so that's already coming. Do you have a wish list item that you want to get your hands on?
I know my first big expense is going to be to redo the glycol. So in bigger breweries, you have a loop. So with my tanks that got added in, I can't just tap into the line and run. I have to have the entire thing redone. Well, looking at the speed at which it cools now, I just don't think it's feasible to add 4 more tanks into that loop.
Yeah.
And just say, okay, well, these guys will handle it because I don't think they can.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to upgrade the glycol output and then get the loop redone. So that's probably...
That's a big one. Yeah.
15K probably.
Well, that's
20K.
it. You have that, man.
Yeah, it's in my back pocket.
Yeah, just once he's open for a month.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
It's easy to do things. Open your own business.
It's super easy, especially in Allegheny County. It's super fucking easy.
I love Allegheny County.
Yeah, they work with us very well. Thank you.
They're wonderful.
That's Ben sits on one side of his pants because your wallet's so thick.
Yes.
Yeah, on the other side.
Allegheny County saved him so much money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much money. It was super.
Moving on.
Is that all red tape on the floor? Well, hold on. Never mind. So we are. We're sitting in this brewery, and I have to say I was fascinated with how you did crowdfunding, because normally people see like the Kickstarter,
Yeah.
but you went through a unique opportunity with, was it Honeycomb?
Honeycomb, right?
Honeycomb. So it looks like it really came through for you. You had a ton of fans of your beer already, and they showed out for you.
It was wild. I mean, I don't remember if I told you guys the story last time I was on, but you know, I was going to my day job, and I just got a random call from Honeycomb in Pittsburgh, and they said, "Hey, you know, we think you'd be good for our crowdfunding type thing. Let's have a meeting." Had a meeting with them. It made sense. It's something that, you know, I'm not giving up any equity in the company. It's basically just people investing and getting their money back. So I said, yeah, you know, it makes sense. We filled all of our paperwork out. It went through. We had 46 days to hit our goal. So we did a minimum of 50 and then maximum of 150. 44 days went by, and it was very nerve-wracking and slow, and I thought, man, I am fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching those frantic social media posts.
Yeah.
Again, Arboretum Trail Brewing on Facebook, Instagram, and arboretumtrailbrewing.com. So it's seeing the frantic posting. I was like, oh shit! So I started like texting people like, did you yet like go? So leading up to that day, you must have been like,
Those last 48 hours were fucking wild. It was like I
It had to be. I saw the line.
Yep.
I mean, I can't even think of an analogy right now, but it was like, it'd be like going from a monastery to spring break. Like we went from like activity, like family members, and then just people coming out of the woodwork. People that people I mentioned it to, you know, 4 weeks ago. And, you know, I was on people pretty hard, and
thought they forgot
they're all
about it.
they're all still my friends, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was sending text
Hounding.
messages probably twice a week, almost every day at the end. So it's just, I mean, everybody showed out. It's I mean, this wouldn't have been possible without that.
Yeah, so were you already looking at this building before
Yeah.
Honeycomb contacted
Yeah,
you?
so
Okay.
it almost coincided perfectly. We had looked at this, and I think it was the Monday after we looked at it the first time, and then they called me, and I was like, holy crap. And, you know, the stars aligned, and Couch and I kind of came to an agreement, and then the Honeycomb paperwork went through, and it's worked out. So everything looks good on paper, and we're hopefully getting that stamped next week.
Yeah.
Or I guess when you put this out, it'll be this week.
Yeah, so it'll Sunday, yeah. So if Sunday for audio and Monday for video. So hopefully on Monday that we can post this with a congratulatory ready to go Ben.
Yeah, just everybody keep checking the
Yeah.
Arboretum Trail social medias to see when opening day is.
Arboretum Trail Brewing on Facebook and Instagram, and their website, arboretumtrailbrewing.com.
Because it's coming any day now.
Any day.
That's why we came here today, because we were hoping today would be the day, but unfortunately it's not. But that does not mean that we won't be able to help you announce it.
You were so close.
I know. So close.
I got that call this morning. I'm not going to lie. Lawyer calls me.
Yeah.
Last time he did that, it was, hey, your license got approved.
Yeah.
And that was a year ago in May. And so I thought, okay, great sign. This is going to be a fucking great Friday.
Yeah.
Hey, bud, we need some more paperwork. God damn it! But it wasn't anything major. So it got sent over, and I'm really hoping the Harrisburg just says, okay.
Just
we're
waiting
good.
for that last little checkbox.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. And it looks like, I mean, very arduous going through, but it sounds like right now your communication with like third party stakeholders and stuff, like you're having a good time with them at least. At least
Yeah.
they're working with you really well.
Yeah.
And I think that's always a good sign, you know. It's always a good sign to see that. And we always hope the best for you. And I hope that when we do put out this out on Sunday or Monday, it gets to come along with Arboretum Trail opening day is pop.
Yep.
Yeah. But so going back to the crowdfunding, so lots of people came out and they really helped you out, especially in those last 48 hours.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you're going to be doing for like major contributors?
Well, any contributor, anybody that put in, and some people, family, my wife, especially my wife, contributing to the insanity that is this project and this brainchild. So we're going to have a little party. I was actually contacted by Honeycomb this week. They have a date in mind. So we're going to have everybody down.
Cool.
It's going to be kind of just family, friends, investors only. It'll be catered. Just have everybody down and be like, this, directly, you put your money bought this table, or you guys did this paint. And,
oh, that's really cool, man.
So
it's like really show them where the money ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. It kind of reminds me of like the ripoff version that I think of is always like back in our undergrad when you buy the brick to put it in the walkway.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you spend $10,000, you get a brick. At least here you can drink beer and look at the cool things that you did.
Yeah.
Hey, unnamed university, I peed on those bricks a lot.
Yeah. Boom. So with crowdfunding, and it seemed, crowdfunding is never easy, but it looks like it really helped you out. So is this something that you maybe plan on doing in the future?
I could see us doing it again. It's really going to depend on the projects that are coming up. I have a couple things. I hate to say it, coals in the fire. I think is that what the term they use.
Yeah.
But some ideas I'm kicking around and some things I'm looking at. But judging by the success of this, and then people can kind of build off of that and see what we did the first time.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And
it's kind of cool too. Like I want to say that you set some groundwork for some other breweries that are about to open. I reached out to a few of them to kind of see what their process looks like, and it looks very similar to what you were doing. But they're not using honeycomb, but they're using some other of the avenues, and it looks very similar. And I always wish every brewery luck, but I want to say I think you really kind of set some groundwork here for breweries that want to make it work.
Yeah, we were really lucky. So I'm not going to wish the stress on anybody that that first year was for us, but doing it on the small distribution scale, it was a good way to do it. Not taking the the huge bite out of the apple, and just kind of nibbling at it until an opportunity like this fell. And then with that experience, Honeycomb could then say, "Hey, these guys have been in business for a year."
Right.
It made sense. They're not a startup company. They're not hey, I got this pipe dream.
Makes you a viable candidate.
Yeah. So that year in business, or almost a year in business when we signed up, made a huge difference.
Cool. That's great, man. And it's good to see you thrive and all the things are coming together for you. Stars are aligning. But I have to ask you for the starting lineup for opening day. I know you can't announce opening day, but what do we all hope to see when the Pirates open up? They'll actually have a good starting rotation. So I got to know, man, do you have an idea of the beers you want to have on tap for when patrons can walk through that front door?
Yeah, absolutely. I think about it, pretty much every day. So yesterday, if you check our social media, Arboretum Trail
Brewing on Facebook and Instagram, and arboretumtrailbrewing.com.
That like the Century 3.
It's like, it goes,
Shit. The lineup. So yesterday,
I phased your brain out.
Yeah, you did. So I'm seeing that guy on that commercial. Souls.com. So Treetop Sunrise, blonde ale with laurel hops, got brewed yesterday. Activity in the fermenter, so it looks like that's going to be ready here in a couple of days. Definitely re-enlisted IPA. That's my flagship. There is going to be a change to it. I was kind of waiting to do this for opening day, and I want to see what the reaction is without anybody really knowing what happened.
Okay.
But
I'm excited. I
know the first thing I'm ordering now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, and I do also have a barrel aged beer.
Nice.
I know the second thing I'm ordering.
I can't wait to use one of your cool flights. And I'll just
and
we'll have a shot of that right here.
Right here. Yeah. So we got those in a couple of days ago. They matched the tabletops that we're getting. So, that wood theme, that walnut, that earthy richness, you'll be able to see it a lot in here. So I'm really excited.
Cool, man. So with the big space you have here, so you had some collabs out on cans. So I want to know, with the new space, do you have any collabs that are going to be coming up here anytime soon with anybody else who wants to come down and share brew space with you?
Yeah, so I just done a triple IPA with Union Brothers, and I believe we're going to do something down here once I kind of kick the rust off and get back into it real hardcore there. That idiot from Bash Brew is going to come down and do. Oh, hey, that guy.
I'm gonna mess some stuff up.
We're
Who's
gonna
gonna come in there and just fuck up all the.
we're gonna do something stupid like put Starburst in a beer. I don't know.
I don't think you can do that.
I don't think you're allowed to do
You're
that.
not allowed to do that.
I'm gonna break the existing glycol loop.
Yeah.
Combine new one early.
We're just gonna burn it out. Yeah. Gonna ferment it hot and hard. God damn it! No, probably I'd like to do something else with Mondays. We did something at his place that'll be on tap for opening week. Kind of get him up here and get those guys involved up here. And if there's anybody else out there that has an idea,
This is your opportunity.
go.
Hard cam right there, man. If you have a dream collab right now, say it to the hard cam before we go into a break here, and you can let them know who you want to work with. So go ahead, tell them.
Magic City. I'm looking at you.
Yeah,
Calling you out, Magic City.
Let's do Jay Campbell. Let's go.
one of my favorite
Let's go.
Rust Belt breweries.
I already-
It's not in Pittsburgh.
I would love
I
that.
already have the idea in my head.
Since he's already dreaming big, Burial Beer Company.
Yeah.
hit him.
Let's do this.
Well,
Bring your artists together. Bring the
Magic
breweries
City would
together.
That'd be a
Yeah.
killer collab.
it'd be pretty. We kind of hinted at it, and then the guys from Prototype, I talked to them a little bit.
Very nice.
So I'm hoping I can get those gypsies out here.
Yeah.
Do some stuff. They're literal gypsies.
Oh yeah, they're just transient.
They just
Yeah.
jump around to brewery, which is cool as shit.
Yeah, man. They probably learn. That's probably how you learn so much. Yeah.
Probably my future.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Once I really get fed up and get fired.
You're just train jumping.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get to the next town, sir.
Vagabond, yeah. Carpetbagger.
Just train jumping with bags of grain.
Perfect.
City to city.
It's like when Jackie Chan was in Drunken Master. Like, there he is. He's the Drunken Master. He's like,
I'll be foraging for things that'll bitter the beer because I can't afford hops.
one time I made a triple IPA on a oven stovetop.
I used to be the best home brewer in Pennsylvania.
Did you ever make a triple IPA by candlelight? Bitch didn't. Wuss.
So we are going to move into a break, and we have some amazing sponsors. They love us. We love them. And when you support our sponsors, you support us. And when you support us, you bring you some pretty cool stuff, like talking to Ben Steffen, head brewer and co-owner of Arboretum Trail. And we have other great guests coming up soon, too. So when you continue to support us, we continue to bring them on. So we'll see you on the other side. Nice ink, Adam.
Yeah, I got your name on my ass.
I was talking about your forearm, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've been taking care of it.
Yeah, it looks great, man. What are you using?
I'm using Lucky 13's tattoo cleanser and healing ointment. This ointment is incredibly fresh and invigorating. It effectively removes all surface oils and dirt while not dehydrating your new tattoo.
Dude, I actually got some of Lucky 13's tattoo balm. It's all natural, not oily, and applies easily. The balm improved my color and definition, and the vibrance on this ink makes it look like it's brand new.
Oh yeah, man. I found their products after taking their online quiz and it pointed me in the right direction.
Hey, guess what? And right now, if you use our promo code MATA193529, you can save 25% on your entire order from their site.
From the first line of your tattoo to the first year of your tattoo and beyond, Lucky 13 has you covered to keep that ink looking fresh.
Do you love comics, movies, video games, and more? We do too. Come tune in to Josh and our cast of colorful co-hosts on Talking Smack. Available on all your favorite podcasting platforms.
Welcome back. Hopefully you heard something that you like, because again, when you support our sponsors and you support us, and when you support us, we're bringing some pretty cool stuff, like talking to Ben Steffen, the head brewer and co-owner of Arboretum Trail, which we are on location in his wonderful new brew space. So we are in round 2, but I want to ask you, totally forgot to ask you in round 1. There's got to be a huge failure. Got to be a huge failure that's funny. What happened? You moved all your shit and you came here. What happened?
I'm trying to think.
Might just be that fridge.
I mean, it might be the fridge.
He was pretty crushed.
I was 100% like, no, this motherfucker is fitting through this fucking door. I did it. I was here when it happened, and apparently it was way too far in the past for me to remember.
You were there.
So-
I'm confident you were there. Just that door was not.
Yeah, it definitely was not. So now it's broken. So now I have a 200-pound piece of metal.
You have a nice paperweight. It's a good paperweight, man.
Oh, it's holding something down.
So we are in round 2, and we are in the wonderful Arboretum Trail Brewing space. And Ben, you brought some more delicious beers for us to try. So it is round 2. You brought more delicious beers for us. We call this round 2 beers. What do we got?
So you are drinking Beez Knees. So this is a pretty heavy Saison, 9.1%. I made it with Sunny Rose Ranch, Black Locust Honey, and just a regular Bell Saison yeast. Huge banana bomb, or at least it was a pretty big banana bomb. It's mellowed out a little bit. I think the honey kind of ate a little bit of that up during carbonation. So we do have some bottles, but it'll be on draft opening week.
There you go. Add to the opening day lineup.
Another one on the lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the honey on the nose for sure. Definitely get some banana notes still, which I like.
For sure.
I'm cool with that.
And if you want to come down here on opening day and get a flight, we have the flight board right here. You saw a picture in the first round, but decided to put it right there for you. So you got these wonderful, what are those, 5 ounce?
Some little nice
5 ounce.
Little 5 ounce tulips.
So it's just
Wonderful.
basically a half pour of our 10 ounce tulip. So these guys our basic pours will be anything under 8% will be in our regular Willie Belcher. Anything over 8% double IPAs, this Saison will be in the 10. Or if you just want to try some stuff, hit the 5s.
And that's for your own protection.
Yes. Yes.
Let me just tell you right now that it's no mystery here whenever we do this podcast that we drink beers for you to watch. But we also drink beers before it starts, during break, and when we're done.
I thought you were going to say lie to everybody and say we drink beers safely.
Yeah.
No. No.
There's nothing safe about this.
There's nothing safe about what we're doing here today. But I want to, since I have 2 great brewers with me today, I did want to go ahead and I found a discussion article.
Great. One great.
You guys are great brewers.
One barely hanging in there. One about to
Don't talk about Ben like that.
Yeah.
One about to run the train.
He's about to open up the brew space. What the fuck?
He's the great one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My bad. I think I confused you for a second.
Dipshit.
My bad.
Fuck off.
So, BeverageDynamics.com discussed what they believe are the 10 craft beer trends in 2022. Now, this article was a great read, but I wanted to have a discussion on some of the topics outlined here to see how you, Ben, and Adam take a brewer's position, and maybe I can provide some insight as well as a consumer, because, of course, you guys are the guys behind the recipes, and I'm the guy who mainly drinks what you guys make and give you some feedback.
I consume a little bit too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
sometimes, every once in a while.
Just on days that end in wine.
So, I'll just throw a topic out there, and we can just kind of break it down, and see what we're thinking about this. And so, right now, trends in craft brewery shifted towards taproom traffic in comparison to carryouts and can grabs before COVID. So, when craft breweries really opened up at first, there weren't really tap rooms. It was more or less a brewery, and then distribution was the main goal here.
Yeah.
But leading up to right before COVID, the height of the tap room was really what brewers focused on. So how do you guys feel about the differences between distribution-only carryouts and tap room traffic?
I'll let the man opening a tap room soon respond first.
I mean, distribution is bullshit most of the time. And I know I said it last time, and I'll say it this time, obviously. But it's a tough game. I mean, your first couple months, you're the new guy, and everybody wants it, and then your sales start to wane. So what do you rely on? Well, you can't constantly get into new stores. Like, it's impossible. So the taproom model with to-go possibilities is really, that's the way to go. The cheap way to get in, I guess, kind of how I did it, was the distribution model at first, but it's not easy at all.
Adam?
Yeah, I think the ideal model that's been discovered is having the tap room with to-go options. I mean, your best profit margins coming out of those taps, not distributing. So I think the tap room's popular, and I think it's going to come back. I think it's already in this city, in Pittsburgh. I think it's already back to being popular. My can buying has gone down.
Yeah.
I just go and visit the breweries. I like to converse with people. I like to see what they're brewing, catch some friends I know, possibly, so. And there's not a lot of empty tap rooms. Like, everywhere's got a pretty good crowd, especially come the weekends. So I was out on a Thursday last night. And a brewery we already discussed Mondays was packed. Right. So
I got to stop by Connie Creek yesterday on the way home from work. Same thing. Stopped by, had 2 pints, talked to some brewers, talked to some staff, talked to some people, grabbed a mix 6. So I kind of I'm still in between. I like the taproom experience, but I also like being able to still take things that I like home to experience. Only because in the chaos of a tap room, I'm usually being pretty social. So I like to have that moment when I'm at home to really take a moment with the beer, because I want to. I don't know. I feel that craft beer is an art, and when I'm in the tap room, I'm appreciating it. But when I'm at home, I have more of an opportunity to really sit back and understand what I'm drinking. Yeah.
I don't like people as much as you, so I can get that experience in the tap room.
And I think COVID kind of presented us with a unique, because not a lot of people, your big players were putting stuff in cans. Your Brew Gentlemen's and Dancing Gnome.
Yeah.
But then when COVID hit, everybody had to put it out, because you were going to fail if you didn't. Right. So now I feel like it's a good mix. So there's a lot of people like you that might have 1 or 2 and then say, okay, well, we're going to go home, have a fire. We're going to take a 6, and the wife and I are going to split 3 and 3. Or, there's a lot of people like you that just say, fuck it, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to have 6, take an Uber home.
Right.
And I think, COVID kind of helped us get to that point where everybody meets whatever they want. So you might flip-flop one weekend, or you might always be that guy that, and I think it's beneficial for everybody.
From the consumer side, I was just doing the can buys so often during COVID.
Right.
I don't have a lot of room in the house.
But you had to.
But I also, because I had to. But I also missed the taproom experience so much.
For sure.
I'm still not over it. I still got to get back and see everybody.
Yeah.
I think because I'm kind of like a hybrid in that respect too, because I do help you out to a degree. So sometimes I do get associated with you to a certain degree. So I do get to talk to brewers because of you, and I thank you for that a lot. So it kind of gives me a leeway to talk to people. I would never have known Ben if it wasn't for you. So this gives me an opportunity to do that. So when I'm in the tap room, I think I'm more focused on talking to brewers about what they're doing. I'm that dude in the corner is let me talk to the brewer real quick. I just want to hey man, this Sabro showcase, let me talk to me about that. How did that go down for you? I want to know that stuff. And then when I'm at home, I want to, like I said, I just want to take the opportunity to kind of sit down with the beer. And but to go back to something you said, Ben, and this goes into the next point here, COVID directly affecting tap room traffic, but it did lead to the national lockdowns and deflated customer feedback. So even, it's without people being in the tap room and getting it right from the tap, you don't really get someone giving you that direct, just instant gratification and feedback on what you're doing. And it's still new to you too, because you're going to be opening up taps here. And Adam, you've had taps for people to come over and check it out.
Yeah.
You kind of have the benefit too of being open during COVID, because you have your taps on all the time.
Yeah, but we basically did porch pickup for people that wanted to try.
So you kind of hybrided it up too. So what was it like for you guys not having so much feedback directly in your space with you?
So for me, we get a lot of the direct feedback as a home brewer from festivals, and that got shut down. So we lost all direct feedback. And I imagine for anybody that had a tap room and didn't any longer, you're basically relying on Untapped for all of your feedback, which is not a reliable source.
Not
fucking
at all.
Horrendous.
Yeah.
So that would be my take on it. It was very slow, but it was, at least from my standpoint, it was awesome when somebody would post the bottle they got from us on social media.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And, have something nice to say that I tried to every single one and thank everybody that did that. So.
That kind of happened with you too. I would always see Arboretum Trail cans up on social media, especially on Fueled by Hops. People really showed you a lot of love on that site. Congratulations on 5K, by the way, to Fueled by Hops. So for you now, we're kind of on the other side, hopefully on the other side of COVID, and you're coming to light with your tap room. Do you kind of see that the influence you had with your can grabs is going to help you then to reestablish that customer service?
Yeah, no, I mean 100%. There's I think there was a huge benefit in taking the small road and, developing that base. Obviously, Fuel by Hops, that community really took a hold and, has been really supportive. But then outside of that, giving them to friends and family and everything, I went from, I think, 320 followers last May, and now I'm almost at 1,200.
Nice.
So in a year, I've just built that on Instagram.
Great. And
Facebook's close to 1,000 when we started from zero from, last May. So that's, I know followers are whatever, but, I didn't pay for anybody.
Right.
I didn't sign up for free mailing lists. It was all people picking shit up out of the store and follow. So I think, once this room finally gets open, things will really maybe hit the mainstream.
Great. Let's talk about some things that kind of came from COVID. We're going to look at things that affected the craft beer industry, like the craft beer consumption statistically went down while the consumption of cannabis went up due to like Delta 8 variants coming out. CBD became big. There's the things that were detrimental to craft beer, like the can shortages and the whiskey boom, as well as ready-to-drink mixed cocktails became prevalent. So how do you guys view, let's just start with like the variants of cannabis use in comparison to craft beer. Did you guys see people kind of lean more towards that on your social media than searching out your beer?
I don't know about on social media. In my personal life, I did.
Yeah.
And I think it was just probably for health concerns, because I just ramped up on craft beer and it did not do me favors on the scale. So I think in my personal life, I saw people lean into that just with new regulations, new laws being put in place.
I think it goes both. I think they go hand in hand. Yeah. I find that a lot of people will, maybe take a hit on the pen and have a beer.
Yeah.
And just, and I think everyone's kind of relaxed. I don't want to say everybody, but a lot of people have relaxed on the weed.
Oh, yeah.
And, it used to be, 10 years ago, it was like, oh my God, you smoke?
Right.
And now it's like, oh, what are you smoking? So it's just, I think the whole perception of it is different, and I think it's obviously years behind craft beer, but I feel like they are kind of intertwined almost.
Yeah. You can kind of see
way.
the two, especially when you look at how like CBD was used in like the Sweetwater series.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of intertwining, and then you start to see like Delta 8 is starting to be infused in some beers now too. I think Cigar City was trying to kind of mess around with that.
Yeah, and I don't see it. Not to jump ahead, but I don't see it pulling away from craft beer. Like whiskey is I think whiskey is a more likely thing to pull people away from craft beer.
I don't even.
But I don't see that around here.
Again, I feel like, what do they call this? Venn diagram, the circles.
Yeah.
And I feel like and I hate this term, but John Q. Public is in the middle,
right.
And like I am a bourbon not connoisseur, but I do enjoy it. So that's one circle. I don't smoke, so that's kind of off. But then craft beer is obviously a big part. But I'm in that middle, so I think there's a piece of the pie for everybody on every spectrum, and it just depends on what kind of day you're having.
Right.
You and I did some work other than beer, and it can become stressful. So what kind of day did you have? Do you have a hit the pen day? Do you have a double IPA kind of day, or do you have a fuck it, let's get out that old elk and drink the bottle kind of day?
Yeah.
So
I know a lot of days where I'm just like staying in and like it's a weeknight.
Yeah,
I could turn to bourbon. I have just one or two.
But your craft beer consumption, I don't feel like is affected. I think
I'm just not drinking it that day. Yeah, the weekend's still going to be the weekend, and I'm back to craft beer.
I see the thing too that I see from a consumer side of things is I see a lot of craft breweries are starting to incorporate whiskey and bourbon. Like we go back to the trace barrels that you have, and I know Adam, you've seeked out some other things as well, like using barrel chips in some of your brews.
Yeah. Which cheaper alternative,
but effective, and you've made some delicious beers out of that. So I think there's an opportunity there for whiskey connoisseurs to enjoy craft beer and craft beer connoisseurs to enjoy whiskey and bourbon.
It's just what chunk out of like everybody's budget's getting allocated to those two areas is different for everybody. I mean, I don't spend my wife kind of takes control.
Oh, yeah.
Like bourbon in our house.
And rightfully so, man. She does a great fucking job.
Yeah, I'm not getting in the way of that. She brings home some good stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if it's one thing we can all kind of hold hands and agree upon, hopefully, is that fuck ready to drink cocktails.
I don't think that's eating out of craft beer so much as
that's
it is
a completely
hard.
different sector.
I think it's eating out of hard seltzers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, after working with Lynx for as long as I have, and being good friends with the owner Jeff, and he talks about guys, they drink the high noons.
Yes.
The 4-packs, the vodka drinks, and even with his sector being golf centric, you still have those people are still drinking the craft beer, his beer, on the course. Okay, do they have a couple high noons in there? Yes, but there's still they're still buying his in droves, almost to the point he can't keep it in stock.
Yeah. I mean,
So
that's definitely taking up space in state store shelves. Like you see more of those canned cocktails.
I think it's just it's a ready to go option, but I don't think it's anywhere close to taking maybe seltzer, but other than
Topo
that,
Chico, baby. Topo Chico seltzer is the shit.
Yeah, but they're definitely because there's even confusion between the pre-made cocktails and the seltzers. Like my wife works for the state.
Yeah.
So there'll be people coming in looking for White Claws at the liquor store, and then people going for high noons.
They're the fucking same shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's very close to the same thing.
it's so a White Claw is what 4.8, 4.8.
Right. Yeah.
Fucking high noon is 5.2.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people will probably come after me for it, but there's no difference. You're drinking the same shit.
drinking pretty
Stop
much
it.
Yeah. I mean, and then there's a place for it. When I'm
There is. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be honest with you, when I'm grilling outside 90-degree heat, I like a good seltzer.
Yeah.
Topo Chico, baby.
Topo
Chico all day. That's my favorite.
Middle of July, my wife loves seltzer and she loves cider, and she's like, hey, when are you making some of that stuff? And there's a place for it, but it's just I don't foresee the dude who's drinking King Julius all of a sudden saying, I'm gonna go hit that.
I need some Truly.
Yeah, I need some Truly. It's just I don't see the markets intersecting to the point where they steal anything.
Yeah, and then I mean, going back to a trend that wasn't necessarily 2022. Was when seltzer hit last year, 2 years ago now at this point. Like, I think that brought people into craft beer.
I think
those
those
breweries that ended up doing a hard seltzer, that was just an alternative for like, hey, if the guy or girl in the relationship's likes craft beer, but the significant other doesn't, there's something for them. That's just another option on top of cider, on top of wine.
And also too, it kind of reminded me of when everyone brought Arsenal into their breweries. It was kind of that gateway because
that was I was going to say because it's when you have this taproom environment, I'm not making ciders,
right?
I'm not good at it, or I don't know if I'm good at it, and I don't really care to find out if I'm good at it,
right?
So I can get Arsenal or Threadbare, or Kingview, Apis, all those people that that's their thing. So my wife, who's not a big beer drinker, she comes in. She's going to sit down. She's going to get the Arsenal. She's going to get the Kingview or whatever, and like you said, it's a way to, and you can have Pennsylvania cocktails in. So now I can make an old fashioned with Wiggle, or
which is great.
446. Yeah. Or there's a place in Irwin. I'm sorry, the name escaped me, but there's something for everybody. Pennsylvania's done a really good job of encompassing the entire spectrum. So I can have wine, I can have PA spirits, I can have obviously PA beer, mead, cider. So there's something for everybody here.
Yeah, and exactly too. And to go into some of the styles here, one of the trends they were talking about in this article is that the IPAs are still king. Yeah. IPAs dominate tap rooms, but the armor is weakening. IPAs are still 40% of craft beer sales, but there is a dramatic shift now as we're seeing towards pales, pilsners, and lagers. How do you guys feel about that shift from IPAs to what we call garage beers or dad beers?
It's going to happen with every trend. There's food trends, there's fashion trends, there's going to be trends in craft beer. And the trend was hazy IPAs for a long time, and sours peeked their head in there, in and out. And now it's just rotating back to lagers, which is what a lot of people started on. I think that I think it's being looked back fondly on the big craft beer market. Like, oh, that's what I drank in college, is this style of beer. Like,
which is great.
This is good. And like now that small craft breweries are doing them, they're really freaking good lagers.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
And I appreciate it. It's something new. I'm an IPA junkie. I love them.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get one at every place I go to. But I also appreciate having other stuff I like.
I always say IPAs are like the Honda Civic of craft beer. You can like really tailor it however you want to. You can add things to it. You can take things away from it. You can build it up, tear it down, make it plain Jane, or adjunct the fucking shit out of it. So I like IPAs. I'm a dark beer guy. I like ambers and porters and stouts. But I tell you what, man, like you got a double West Coast on or something, I'm definitely trying that thing. 'Cause I love West Coast. Like, it's my thing.
So, like, I guess to dissect it a little bit more, I think the IPA market got so saturated that you can't make a bad IPA and expect to sell it anymore.
Right.
Like, if you're not a Treehouse or Fidens or, locally Brew Gentleman, Dancing Gnome, Old Thunder, if you're not playing with the big boys, like, you're probably not going to sell a lot of IPA in a market like this.
Right.
So I think people are able to get that a little bit more, so they expect it to be at that level. And if you're not at that level, well, what else are you going to do? Yeah. Well, okay, my IPA isn't great, but my Pilsner is pretty good. Well, then people appreciate the artistry in a Pilsner.
Right.
So I know the research says the market share is dwindling, but I think it's just people's preference.
It's weeding out the okay from the great.
They're weeding out the guys who just throw some shit in a pot and think, whatever.
Right,
people will drink it because it's hoppy. Yeah. And they don't anymore because you're not. No. You got to hang with the Fidens. You got to hang with the Mortalis.
Right. There are too many options that are
very
fantastic.
Very good. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I think that saturation helped people get creative, and at least here in Pittsburgh now you see places opening with different focuses. Like you have specific lager houses opening up. You have people focusing on wild ales,
which is incredible too. Because and to name drop somebody I like here in Pittsburgh, Necromancer, bringing back all the older styles. Yeah, it's incredible to see them bring back those things. And we've mentioned Necromancer on a couple occasions, and really like what they do. And it's just cool to see craft beer has gotten to the point where they can bring back old styles. They can start to focus on, kind of getting back to the roots of it. So, IPAs are king, but I think that IPAs kind of reopen the door for other styles to come back open.
They opened up the imagination. So, I mean, somebody like Lauren Hughes at Necromancer, she came from Penn and she was taught, those certain classic ways. Styles, but then she can come in, with her amazing mind and, brewing and just create those other styles and bring them up. And, people look at a grisette and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Like, I've never heard of this. I didn't know it was this good. And, and she's putting that stuff out there and you're just like, holy shit.
I got to,
so,
I got to have 2 smoked Hellas's over the last week.
That's incredible, right?
Holy shit.
But what I like, too, about that is that it challenges other breweries then to be like, well, if they're making a Hellas like that, then I need to make a Hellas like that. And then it becomes like the IPA race.
And you look at 340, out of Old Thunder.
Yeah.
Like, that for me, apologies to everybody else in Pittsburgh, but that's the daddy. Like, you want a Hellas, that's where you should go.
Yeah.
And
I think it's just good for the city. Like everybody's going to find what they're good at and just get better at it. And then you have destinations. Like you have places to go for a reason instead of everywhere just having a hazy you want to try.
Right.
There's but I want to go here because they have good lagers. They're doing good German stuff here. They're doing British stuff here. They're doing wild ales here.
Like I've heard, a certain group on the other side of the state kind of scoff at Pittsburgh. I mean, you look at our diversity in the styles that we have. Like we have a Strange Roots, all wild ales.
Yeah, which is incredible. Yeah.
And we have Golden Age is a lager house. And then you have Necromancer that is, bringing back old styles and doing new styles. And then you have Dancing Gnome, Brew Gentleman, Old Thunder that are just, big slammers.
Yeah.
You got Penn that's a traditional. So
Then you got Grist doing all this dessert stuff.
Grist
you
is
got,
doing
You got like Grist, Hitchhiker, Abjuration.
Right.
It's
adjunct.
11th hour insurrection.
Along with everything else. Like, you're doing other styles incredible, too.
You have barrel aging, out of sight. It's like
insane.
Pittsburgh. If we're not top 3 in the country, we're number 1. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like it just
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Fuck 'em. Fuck you, San Diego.
Come at us, Colorado.
Fuck you, Boston.
Denver.
Fuck Colorado.
I was actually
Fuck Brant Young.
You know what?
Yeah, that's
Fuck
right.
Brant Young.
Fuck Brant
you.
Young.
He has some dumb fucking opinions.
So speaking,
Please leave that in so I can.
I am.
I'm tagging him.
Look right at that hard camera and say what you want to
You're
say.
the only thing I dislike about Colorado.
Whee!
So we're talking about styles of
Wait,
beers.
is Coors in Colorado too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you're the second thing. Although Coors Banquet slaps
Thank
sometimes.
you. I was going to say, don't.
Coors Light, I don't.
Yeah.
Coors Banquet.
Coors Heavy.
Oh yeah.
Give me some.
But we're talking about some styles of beer here, and one of the trends that's coming up that's really hitting with people, especially now, I'm going to say post-COVID, and I say that with a grain of salt, of course, because whatever's happening is happening. But low-calorie and no-calorie brews are starting to become a thing. That there's a section of craft beer enthusiasts, I would say, enthusiasts maybe with parentheticals around it. They want that low cal, they want that no cal brew because they want to not feel guilty while they're drinking their beer. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, it's not anything I'm interested in, but I see that there's definitely a market for it.
Okay.
I mean, again, not to hype our awesome city too much, but like a lot of these breweries are on major bike trails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I can see like the biking community maybe being more into low cal options. I think a lot of the low cal, no cal you're seeing those like national brands. So if you can get it, you can get it. I don't think you're going to see a lot of, especially like smaller breweries around Pittsburgh doing it. But
Ben? Say what you want to say. I can feel the heat coming off.
The look in his eye says he loves it. And I'm lying.
Yeah, those people can go get fucked. It's so stupid.
Arboretum Trail Brewing on Facebook, Instagram, arboretumtrailbrewing.com.
Yes. I want to drink, but I don't want to have a lot of calories. I mean,
Sounds like water's the drink for you.
yeah. I mean, come on.
There are options out there too, like the seltzers and everything are out there for you, and that's not a bad thing.
Go drink a High Noon. Like beer is beer. I mean, it's grain. It's I don't want to say it's supposed to be heavy, but I mean, I'm not going to make a 2.5% fucking lager because Karen and Jim think that they're watching their waistlines when they drink 17 of them.
Right.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here.
It's ordering a number 3 at Wendy's and then saying you want a water. It's the same thing.
It's not for kids.
Yeah. It doesn't come with a fucking toy, Karen.
Absolutely.
I mean, I will say, like, those low cal and no cal brews are going to taste like crap. Like, it's going to be, because the only way to do that is to water it down.
You can make them good, and there's a really good book out there on session beers, but at the same time, I mean, you're still sitting at probably 110 to 130 calories.
Yeah, these low cal ones are trying to like brag like 80.
Yeah,
it's
like that's fine. You want to drink a Mick Ultra and it's 60. Okay, well, I'm going to go drink water and it's 0 and it's the same fucking thing.
Right, yeah.
So fuck you, Mick Ultra, and just go have some beer and then bike an extra mile.
Another thing worse than Brant Young, Mick Ultra. Mick Ultra sucks way more.
It gives me a headache if I'm ever forced to
I
drink.
feel like we're piling on poor Brant. Are we piling on? No, he gets piled on every
absolutely.
He should though. He should.
Yeah.
He can take it.
We have a representative by the Unfueled show right here. We can say whatever we want. So
I love it.
So let's talk real quickly here too, and I want to give this some space. The diversity, equity, and inclusion in the brew space. This is a big thing that's coming up right now, and this is what people want to see in the brew space because it usually looks like guys look like us that are brewing beer. And I want to say, and I want to put this out there, I think Pittsburgh has taken some pretty significant steps forward in representing not only people of color in the brew space, but the LGBTQ plus population in the brew space. I just want, as a consumer of beer and seeing what I see on social media, that's what I'm seeing. But I want to leave that open really to you guys because you're so behind the scenes more than I am that I want to hear what you guys have to say about that.
I think it's a good start. What we're doing, Trace has the their program, bringing people in, starting out. Nina went through it. Slim went through it. I apologize if he's watching, but their newest person at Trace is about done with his program, and that's great. I think we could probably do some more. There's still room to grow. But I think Pittsburgh as a city as a whole, at least in the brewing community, I feel like we've gotten better. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a good start. I don't know where it goes from here, and we have Barrel and Flow coming up in August.
Wonderful.
So,
wonderful.
We'll be participating in that with Lock and Loaded. So watch out for our beer. But yeah, I think we've made some strides in the right direction. And I'm not a person that I don't feel like I should be sitting here talking and saying, oh, we're doing the right things and blah, blah, blah. I leave that to the better people. But, in my mind, we're heading in a good direction.
Good. Yeah, I agree. Adam?
Yeah, I can pretty much only echo that. I don't know what other cities are doing, but I know our city has Dave Bracey putting together Barrel and Flow every year, which is, I believe, the first one globally.
Yeah, it got a lot of traction nationally.
For minority craft breweries to come in and do their own festival.
Yeah.
So that's definitely gaining traction. And then Pittsburgh has the Craft Beer Diversity Council.
Yeah.
So I don't know if a lot of cities have that or not. And then we're a big part. I know it's national with the Pink Boots Society, but Pittsburgh takes part in that every year. Huge.
Yep.
Like you see multiple breweries. There were 8 to 12 this year. Taking part in that and all really some beers together and stuff. Yeah. So
and those brews were sick as
killer.
Fuck, man. Yeah.
And I mean, from a homebrew perspective, we're seeing it's not the numbers we need to pause at. We're definitely not done yet.
Right.
We do have more minorities and women showing up to these these homebrew meetings. Even not even brewing yet, just saying, hey, we're interested. Can you guys help us get into it? So please, anybody that's interested, show up. It's definitely a dominated interest in industry by white dudes. So we can shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, we can. And that's the thing, too. We always say this, if you come to a brew space, brewers love to talk about the craft. It's painters talk about the paint brushes and the color palettes, and brewers like to talk about the grains and the hops. So if you want to know more about it, you just approach the brewer, and they're 99% of the time they're going to want to talk about it, unless they've brewed for 14 straight hours and they're on shift beer. Yeah. Leave them alone. If they're on shift beer.
Let me get that shifty in, and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
So, no, but I mean, kind of elaborating on what you were saying, Fuel by Hops, we had somebody, female, address and say, oh, how do you approach a brewer about a possible idea or an adjunct to put into a beer? And I was, everybody was like, well, you should do this. It's like, no, just fucking say it.
Yeah.
Like, if you got a weird idea, who cares? Like, tell someone. She's like, oh, well, it's you. I said, okay, then, tell me what it is. Like,
what is it? Yeah.
It can't be that bad. Like, I like doing weird shit with beers, so, let's figure it out. So never be intimidated to say, hey, I ate this chocolate bar. Like, she was like, oh, I ate this certain thing from Aldi, and I think it'd be a cool beer. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, let me go try it and see what that means, from a beer perspective.
Right,
but don't ever, shy away from, that creativity. There's somebody out there will talk to you about it.
Yeah. So, I always think about there was a beer festival that I was with you way back at Oakmont, and somebody brewed a beer with Hawaiian Punch instant drink mix.
Yeah, there's a line.
Yeah, and it
was good.
It fucking killed. It won. It was like, so that lets you know right there. Just say it.
Yeah.
Whatever you're thinking, it can go into a beer. And then it's the thing too, like if a brewer looks at you and says, this is why it logistically cannot work, then that's coming from like a science factor.
I mean, you're always going to find there's a dickhead in every bunch. Like you're going to find somebody that might be a dick about it, but like the majority would just
I feel like
explain why it wouldn't work.
I feel like most brewers would explain why it doesn't work, but also here's our are
Here's
alternatives.
Yeah.
Like we can maybe do this, this, and this. Let me see what that looks like. So, I mean, if, like you were saying, if somebody's going to be a dickhead, they're just a dickhead. Like it's not a brewing thing. It's just them being a shitty human. So, I mean, everybody should feel comfortable in the space of saying, hey, I had this at somewhere, and what do you think about this?
Absolutely.
So, and I think Pittsburgh's been really good about that.
Yeah. I hear a lot of collaborative talk, I should say, when I'm in a tap room. I never really hear anybody saying like, "Don't talk to me." I always hear people saying like, "Well, I don't know what to get," and there's always somebody at the the bar, probably me, pulling up and being like, "So, what do you like?" And then just trying to help them find the next best thing to drink.
If you were there with your significant other and you're not embarrassing them by talking to everybody else,
You're not doing your job.
You're not.
Yeah.
So the last thing in this article I want to ask you guys, because I still feel like this applies for the gentleman here at this table. So it has statistically been proven that small local breweries are the strongest in the market because it's a small town, big delivery. Why do you think that is?
It's a hometown feel. I mean, I'm going to play my own horn a little bit, but not saying that I'm, some big time guy, but, you have people in this section of the city and, maybe the South Hills saying, oh, I can go and get this guy's beer that he used to make in his house, and now he's, I was there from the ground level, kind of thing. And, there's more creativity. You can't make 600 barrels of a peanut butter smoked porter, it's just
too big of a risk.
because of it.
Huge,
Because if it sucks, you're in trouble. But hey, I can make 3.5 barrels, and if it sucks, okay, I lost X amount of dollars.
But your friends will drink that shit.
But the friends will probably drink it, so I'm gonna put it in unlabeled cans, and we're gonna get drunk one night.
Absolutely.
So I mean,
Call me.
yeah. I see you, girl. But I mean, it's easier to do things. It's easier, that connection. So like I said, that that person reached out and said, hey, my husband or I don't know if it's her husband, her significant other, they had this thing from Aldi, and they both thought, oh, this would be really good in a beer. Well, yeah, that hometown person can, throw it in a beer and say, okay, well, hey, this is your beer. Why don't you come in and, play around with it? Budweiser's not going to do that. No. I mean, New Belgium's not going to do that. Right. So I can do that, though.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I mean, give them some, protective eyewear and some gloves, and, I cover all my health code issues,
Shout
possibly.
Allegheny
County. We love you. Kisses.
You're brand young.
Yeah.
Best.
It's red fucking tape.
Yeah, but it's so sticky.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just have to echo what Ben said. I mean, I think the small local ones, it's like rooting for your high school football team.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these breweries are popping up in neighborhoods, and like the locals are where like the bigger ones we talked about, Dancing Gnome, Hitchhiker.
But even at that
Thunder,
size,
people were coming in from out of town for those, and then finding these littler ones. But these littler ones, their neighboring community is hitting them up and keeping like Mondays.
Oh,
right.
yeah, absolutely.
There's these neighborhood craft breweries that are just making really good beer. Yeah. They're not getting hyped like everybody else, but like they're making good beer. It's a good
and one
product.
of the cool phenomena that happens too that I've seen, hang out in the breweries that I do, when someone goes to like an Old Thunder, when I'm in there, and someone says like, "Oh, I really love this, 2FK." Like, fantastic. Oh. What a wonderful beer that is. And they go, if you like this, you should try Muh. And they give a recommendation, and it's like, go to Leaning Cask, or go to Connie Creek, or go to Yellow Bridge, or the ones that people aren't traveling from Ohio to come in to see, but those representatives from that brewery are like, thank you for your business, but we also want you to know, like, aside from us, these smaller breweries are punching out crazy shit.
And those are places where you can go in and get the brewer's ear and ask questions. Like even in those smaller breweries, I'm not saying exclusively, because there's a lot of front of house people at the big places that absolutely know their shit.
Yeah.
But those sometimes those front of house people, the smaller breweries are like family or really good friends with the
Right.
brewer, and like they also know their shit. Like a lot of front of house people in Pittsburgh know their shit.
It's kind of cool too to go into a small brewery because that front of the house person probably was in the brew space
Could have been, yeah.
when they were making the beer.
Totally could be a cellar person, could be.
I would say, yeah. I mean,
intergroup.
my operation here, like,
Yeah.
I mean, you probably have a 50-50 chance of me pouring your beer.
Yeah.
Especially in the first, like, 3 or 4 months. So, I mean, that's what it is. Like, it's a small crew. I mean, my wife might pour your beer one day.
Right.
You know, my sister-in-law might pour your beer one day. So it's that family feeling.
When Ben's pouring beer, I'm going to be a real asshole. Hey, I
Only-
ordered that.
suck.
Only
30 seconds ago. Where is it?
only when I'm pouring beer, because, I mean, you're basically an asshole anyway.
Well, yeah, the whole time. The whole time I'm in here. If I don't get my next beer fast enough, I'm breaking the glass.
So if you guys
That's
want to
your
read this
fault.
article yourself, if you just go over to beveragedynamics.com and you can search out the 10 craft beer trends of 2022. And if you guys have different opinions than us, by all means, hit us up, decayinwtb@gmail.com, and let us know what you think about the topics we discussed here today. And I can promise you, if you bring up some good suggestions here, I will pitch it to whoever I'm interviewing, because I can tell you right now, this is a great opportunity for you guys to hear what's going on in the craft beer scene in one of the most booming craft beer cities in America, in Pittsburgh. So if you want to make your voice known, decayinwtb@gmail.com.
You researched that like you were writing a master's thesis, buddy.
I like it.
Thanks, man.
You
Appreciate
picked that article apart.
You're
Well-
so smartish.
I like that. But then I decided to go out to fucking Twitter and be like, hey, I'm interviewing a really cool brewer today.
Where the experts dwell.
Here we go.
What question would you guys want to ask brewers? And here's the thing, too. Like,
I'm going full heel on these
I know.
people.
I like it.
So what I did was I put it out there to the Twitterverse, and I said, hey, guys, I have a great interview coming up, and I want to ask some really interesting questions. So what burning questions do you have for people who don't brew beer, who are just consumers of beer? What do you want to know? And I think it's appropriate here because we have Ben, who's about to open his first tap room, and we have Adam, who's on the cusp of getting into the business, and you're dominating in the homebrew space. Like,
He is. He is.
There,
He doesn't know it yet, but he's about to get into it.
right there. You know what I mean? And it's incredible to see.
You almost broke your computer again.
No, I did. I would have broke that fucking glass.
These are heavy Willie Belchers. I would have cracked that screen, baby.
So, before I break more shit here in the Arboretum Jojatorium, I want to pose some questions to you guys. So, how do you know what and or how many hops to use for your recipe?
I'll let Ben start. He might just answer it for both of us.
I mean, I just start throwing numbers in to
Okay.
Beersmith, and I kind of get a feeling of where I'm at, but at the same time, like, so does this recipe want to be subdued, or is it I just want to go balls to the wall?
Okay.
So, like, do you remember Beyond Pluto?
Yeah, love that beer.
Beyond, that was balls to the wall.
Yeah, I can tell.
Just like kicking bags of fucking hops into the kettle, and then something like re-enlisted.
Yeah.
It might get a little less crazy, but it's still there. Something like Hippo Eyes is again a little less. So it's just, what do you want out of that beer, and how do you want it perceived? Do you want it on the back end? Do you want it on the front end?
Right.
So it's really. There's a lot of factors, but you want to get crazy, or you just want to have a little bit of fun.
Right. Adam?
Yeah, the what hops totally goes towards whatever flavor you're going for. Each hop has its own, delicate flavor and aroma. So play with it as you will. As far as like bittering, each hop has like an alpha acid that's assigned to it, which is how bitter it's going to be. And using something like Beersmith or a software, depending on where you put that in and what stage of the beer, you can kind of figure out where your bitterness is going to hit.
Because there's so many players, and time and temperature are your two biggest things. But also, like he was saying, your alpha acids and your betas and things like that can really play into your oil content and what oil is the highest, because there's different. So it's really knowing what hops you're putting in, what time you're putting them in, how hot you're putting them in at.
It's my favorite part.
So That leads us to the next question here. How many times did you guys have to brew a beer that you're working on that eventually made you like it personally? You're working on it, you were trying to perfect the recipe, and you finally took a sip out of it and said, damn it, I got it.
Never.
You're still not satisfied with your beers?
You should never be satisfied with
I
them.
think there's always something to tweak.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you're going in the upward projection, you're doing it right. But
Okay.
like,
So
There's so many nuances with beer. So I'll take my re-enlisted.
Yeah.
So first batch came out. I liked it.
Okay.
And I could have stayed there, and I think it still would have been perceived as a decent beer. Let's say it's 6 out of 10, just to give it a number. But it's just a continuous play, and I have a good friend at a brewery that owns a brewery, and they say that even with the beer that is probably one of the best beers in Pittsburgh, they tweak it every time.
Okay.
And it's just, so you can mess with yeast, you can mess with water chemistry, you can mess with hops, you can mess with grain.
yeah, temperature.
You can mess with temp. So it's just, there's so many little things that you can touch. So if I put a little more calcium chloride, what's that going to do to the flavor profile and the presentation of the hops that are going to go in? I up the dry hop, I pull it back. Just so I don't think there's ever a time where you should just cookie cutter and just start shitting beers out.
Okay.
Like you start doing that, you need to either sell your brewery or you need to, go on vacation.
Yeah.
Because you've lost your ingenuity.
Yeah, you can't get comfortable. It's
Right.
I mean, you see, I'm super
Oh, yeah.
self-critical on every beer, so
I have to talk you off a ledge every fucking time.
I think that's.
God bless you. And
I
that's
think that's the healthy thing on like
Big part of my job being a cellarman.
trying to make stuff better. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely like spots where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, and you can't tweak too much at a
Right.
time because then
Right.
you don't know if it's going in the right direction.
Right.
So there's definitely points where I'm like, okay, tweak that this time. I'm not going to touch that
Right.
this
Yeah.
time. I'm going to focus over
Right.
here. But there's definitely not a hard set rule. Like,
Yeah.
what is it, 10,000 hours to become an expert in something? Like, there's not.
It's not hard,
I've
fast.
brewed this
out.
10 times, and that's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
This
I mean,
is the recipe now.
maybe there is, maybe at the bigger level. I mean, fucking Julius is Julius. You know what I mean?
Right.
And, I mean, there's other beers, it's focal banger. But even at the same point, like you listen, John Kimmich talk about, selecting lots of hops, going out to Yakima every year and, grinding those in his hand and finding, that
the right one.
that flavor that's just there, but that contribution of those assets of that hop are going to be different, so that even focal banger or heady topper that are fucking perfect beers,
Right.
they still change,
Yeah.
theoretically,
Right.
or by the numbers they still change
because
every
the hops
year
always
because the
change.
hops always change.
Yeah.
So on beers like that, like you're never set ever.
And if you are, I mean, if I ever was,
I'd be
not-
worried about you.
Passion's gone. Like,
Yeah.
that just means like I'm not
Yeah.
caring. Like I'll burn out on styles and just
Oh,
go
yeah,
something
yeah.
else for a while and then come back to it. Like that's how I handle it.
So let's hit some quick hit questions here. So what's the ratio for you guys? It's time in brewing to time to serving. So how long are you brewing the beer, and how long does it take you to get to a cup, a pint?
I don't understand what you mean.
So like, how long do you spend in the brew space to make like your lineup you have for opening day? How long did you spend brewing that beer to have? How many do you have on tap for opening day?
I should have of my own stuff, probably 12.
So 12 taps. How long did you spend in your brewery space to make 12 taps available for consumers?
Fuck. I mean, we're talking weeks.
Since March.
Yeah. So I mean, since July of 2020.
Yeah.
Because there's a barrel aged beer that's going to be in there.
Shit, man.
So each beer has its own nuances. That Saison, I think I said, and even the barley wine, they take weeks to really find their way. And that barley wine is going to change in those kegs from,
Right.
Today when we're sitting here drinking it to maybe next week, maybe 3 weeks when it
Right.
kicks. So it's just, it's an infinite amount of time to really develop from grain to glass.
I mean, to go to like actual time working on it in production, for me, doing 10 gallons, far scaled down from what Ben's doing. This last cream ale took me only 6 hours, which was like, I think, my quickest brew day since moving spots.
Yeah.
But that beer then has to sit in a fermenter for 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
Then it's served. It'll probably last a month
Yeah.
at most. Like, so if that's the answer they're looking for, that's that answer. But that changes with style. Like, if I was doing a double IPA, there's no way I was getting that done in 6 hours. Like,
Right.
There's many more steps.
Yeah.
There's more grain. It
You're
takes
talking,
longer to transfer.
Yeah, you're
Like,
talking lagers. I mean, you're
lagers
talking
take
months.
longer to ferment.
Yeah.
So, your brew day up front's probably quicker for a lager because it's a lighter beer.
Yeah.
But then you're sitting on it in a fermenter. That's why I don't do lagers yet because it would take a fermenter of mine
For too long.
for months.
Yeah.
And I need to pump out beer for these
Right,
festivals.
right.
So.
And also for charity events.
And charity events. I mean, a lot of these festivals I'm talking about are charity events as well.
Did you get a bottle of that?
But Make Peace Not War?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I always donate to Make Peace Not War.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Did you?
No.
You should. Make
knew where
Peace Not
he-
War is available right now at CWO, and you can get that at @bash_brew on all social media.
I knew where he was going. You didn't tell me you wanted one.
Oh, okay. That's fair. That's a fair point.
I work there. Of course I have one.
I have a year-old bottle of which one is it?
Crushed?
The peanut butter stout.
Yeah.
No, the
Ooh.
Tuckered Out. Tuckered
That's
Stout.
Tuckered out.
good.
That's right.
So, guys, bottles versus cans. Which one do you prefer?
Cans.
Cans.
Okay. And now, how's the flavor? How's the flavor change between both?
I don't.
Unless it's a barrel aged, like it's fucking stupid. No, I don't want to say that.
Rewind.
Hey, I still bottle.
Oops.
So I still bottle only because bottles
Well-
take up space. Like you got to buy cans and
Yeah.
and
Right.
I don't
Pallets.
have the space. To.
Yeah.
And bottling is a very easy one man operation.
Yeah.
As far as like changing in flavors, other than very specialty stuff, like there's no difference in flavor.
Okay.
It's more protected. The quality control on a can's much easier. That thing didn't see sunlight. A bottle might have hit sunlight, might have got skunked. So that's the risk. It's easier to stack cans in a cooler is my always go-to answer.
That too.
So
Yeah.
Cans have improved in quality
Yeah.
drastically.
Drastically.
Since our
They have a
parents,
liner in
so,
them now, so I mean, you're not going to taste the metallic
No.
stuff that you used to 20 years ago.
So, guys, a dream beer to brew. So, if you could take your equipment and make it feasible for
Wait.
this particular
I'm
kind
looking
of
at the
beer.
show notes. It does not say beer. It says beverage.
Beverage. Okay. If you want to do
'Cause
beverage.
mine changes. And
Okay.
I would love to do a bourbon someday.
Okay.
Like
this-
just have the opportunity to do it with a small distillery.
That's
or,
cool. Yeah. Wiggle,
know.
where are you at?
I mean, I don't know. Like if we could use like, I know, distilling mash is pretty basic. So I don't know if like a craft mash going into a whiskey would make any changes, but like maybe some sort of collab there.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, I'd love to distill something at some
Nice.
point, especially bourbon because that's what I like the most. But
Ben?
as far as beer, I don't know. I do what I want.
Like, is it have to be a certain style or just?
Whatever you want, man.
I want to do a barrel aged with side project.
Okay. Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
All right.
that would be the point where I would be like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, that's your
Yeah,
wonderful, man.
Burial. I'd like to do anything with burial.
I'd like to lick your barrels.
Yeah. I'll just come in and lick
So
boots. I'd wash dishes all day and be happy with it.
here's a hard question
Right,
that I wanted to save because the last question in this Ask a Brewer segment. Why do breweries have IPAs on 8 out of 10 taps? And I want to just back off from the heat from this question because I know kind of the answer.
I'll let Ben answer first because he has customers coming into his tap room and I can offend people. So.
So, yeah. Ben, why
Matt,
do
you're
you,
about to get a lot more fans.
why exactly do you believe that breweries are putting on IPAs on a majority of their taps?
Do you know what pays bills?
IPAs.
Do you know what else pays bills?
IPAs.
Sours
Sours? Okay.
In this city,
and barrel aged.
Okay.
IPA and sours pay your bills. Everything else is for the thrills. Somebody told me that,
Yeah.
and I thought about it a lot, and they're fucking right.
Right.
Now, I love drinking IPA, so I will drink IPA. I will make a lot of IPA here and serve a lot of IPA here, but people come out of the woodwork for that shit.
Yeah.
And, as much as we want to say, I'm not going to fall to the fads and the hype and,
Right.
I got fucking bills to pay.
Right.
I got, a daughter and a wife to take care of. And you know what? If I got to make an extra hazy once a month because it's going to make me X amount of dollars and it pays all of my bills, well then
happen.
Fuck your opinions.
Yeah. Boom.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Like, I think what people kind of forget is when they get the beer in their glass, they forgot that it takes time, energy, effort,
at this
money.
level, it's more prevalent, for people like me that have to look at and say, okay, well, this beer is going to cost X dollars. They're going to produce X dollars of revenue, minus cost, and here's my end number. Okay, well, then you have the person saying, well, why aren't you making lagers? Well, listen, motherfucker, I got 5 tanks.
Yeah.
And
I'm just starting out.
I gotta
use
so
this
I
as
can't,
efficiently as possible.
I appreciate that you like lagers, but at the same time, I got things to do.
Right.
It's not cheap to do this.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to the thing you said too earlier in the second half here, where you said, I'm not going to make 100 barrels of a chocolate peanut butter stout because it's not going to return to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
it's going to be great to make it.
I can't afford to let that sit around for 6 months.
Right.
And even like right now I'm fighting, I love Saison, but without a tap room, it probably was very premature of me to make that. So
I'm glad you made it though. It's delicious. And
because
yeah.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, distributor-wise, is buying that.
No.
I have cases of bottles that are just sitting out here.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Matt Anderson.
You take one with you.
I'll take one with me for sure, man.
You'd be like the second.
I'll be the second, third, fourth, and fifth. I love this thing. Adam?
Yeah, so, I mean, Ben said it from his point of view, and that's kind of the point of view I was going to go off of, too. It's a possibility of 2 reasons. Okay. And the biggest reason would be that's what's making money in this market. In that brewer's market, in that city, at this time of year, whatever it is. I know it's a place you like to hang out with your friends and drink beers, but it's a business. And at the end of the day, whatever's making money is what's going to be on tap. If that brewery is going to be successful. In a city like Pittsburgh, hey, it's the best country in the world. It's America.
Yeah.
Freedom of choice.
Yeah.
If you don't like what's on that menu, you don't pay a cover charge to get in here.
Yeah.
Go to another brewery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go to the dive bar and get a Miller Lite. Like,
you're
not forced to drink the IPAs. If you don't like it, the best thing you can do to get it off that is not drink it. And then maybe you, in your opinion, will shift the whole market. Doubt it, because there's already Anheuser-Busch.
Right.
But go ahead and try.
Right.
And that's your choice to try.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have that opinion. But for you to put that on a brewer especially a brewer owner that spent their time developing those recipes and making the beer the best it can to pay their bills and to bring people into the tap room, it's ignorant. And there's other beers for you. I'm sorry if you can't enjoy every brewery in your city.
Right.
But it's just not, sometimes it's just not for you.
Right.
And you're going to have to face that.
Do you think it goes back to a statement, too, that we made about asking the brewer what they're doing?
You can always ask. Yeah. I would ask it nicely, not be like, why do you have all these shitty IPAs? I hate IPAs. Like, it's an ignorant stance to take. And I've heard it asked that way.
Oh, yeah.
And it's...
Well, it's like
it's just dumb. And then I've also heard people say, just like come up with their own conclusions in their head, which is it's easy to brew and it's cheap to brew. And it's neither.
Which is fucking bullshit.
That's
especially the cheap part.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ.
Hops are so fucking
expensive. Even we're at the homebrew level, we're making a dozen gallons a batch, and we're trying to put it out there. Jesus Christ, man, we're talking. It's a car payment. It's a car payment to make that
3.5 barrels of my triple IPA Beyond Pluto. Put a price tag on my hops.
Oh shit, man!
3 barrels would be like
3.5 barrels.
Closing in on closing in on $1,000. You're high hundreds, if not low thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like that right
for
there.
3 barrels of beer for just hops. You still got to buy the grain and the yeast. Spending money on the water.
Right.
So you're spending 2 G's on 3.5 barrels.
That's what ticks me off even worse than the why there's so many IPAs is people just assuming it's because it's anybody.
Oh, it's easy. You just and it's the same people
that confusion is like because you can cover off some off flavors with hops, but like to make a good IPA is still just as hard as making a good anything else.
Yeah.
And it's rather expensive because of the hops.
And you're not covering up because even when you're dry hop, you're not covering up any oxygen intake.
Right.
Correct.
And,
that's what I was going to say.
You're not covering up hop burn. There's no way to cover up hop burn. There's no way to cover up hop creep. Like it's just, it's an ignorant statement to make to say, oh, it's just easy to make. No, it's not. If you want to look at it, the cheapest and easiest beer to make is a lager.
It just takes time.
It just takes time, and it's not easy, and it's still not easy because your water profile and
and your temperature control all matter. Like it's
fuck that person.
It's just something like even the wire 8 over 10 taps it's offensive. It's an offensive statement just to say why is 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
So what we just read, the market share is still 40% on it. It's dying off, and it's still 40%.
Right. Exactly.
And then
and I think that number is low.
Honestly,
honestly,
do a scotch of research and just don't make the ignorant statement.
Right.
It takes 2 seconds to be like, hey, why are IPAs so popular? You'll find 50 fucking articles that
honestly, and you say that, I literally just Googled 2022 trends to have a discussion point here. I think it was 120 articles to pick from, and I read 12 of them. And 12 of them all had IPAs ranking almost half of because of the price point that consumers are willing to pay.
What I've seen is like people will say, well, I'd like a banana raspberry sour on. Well, that's really limiting market for a small brewery.
Very much so.
That's you.
Yeah.
Like
that's you caring about you and
you're
not
looking
saying,
you're looking at a spec in the matter of, I can fit by fire code 82 people here.
Right.
Okay, am I going to cater to the one guy that wants a banana raspberry smoothie sour, or am I going to make 5 IPAs that 55 people every time they step through the door are going to buy?
I do have a nice thing to say to that one person.
Okay.
Maybe try homebrewing.
Yeah.
'Cause then you can make whatever the fuck you want for yourself.
And you can see how fucking expensive it is.
If you're that annoying, though, don't come to me.
No. I was going to say, please come ask me why 8 out of 10 of my taps are IPAs, because I will explain to you until you're ready to pay my bills. Go get fucked.
Then the flip side of that coin is, well, maybe an American lager. And it's like, well, there's big fucking companies that get paid billions of dollars a year that already fucking do that.
Right.
Go buy a case for $20.
Yeah.
And there's a market for you. If you want craft lager, there's also, if you're in a big enough city, there's craft lager.
And if you guys, and this is a preview for our next episode too, if you want to find out why those big craft breweries can punch out all those light beers for a low cost, you're going to find out in the next episode because we're going to have that discussion as well.
It's called second runnings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a conversation that needs to be had because I don't think people understand why they can get a case of Budweiser or Bud Light for $25 and they can't.
You mean they haven't realized why Coors Banquet and Coors Light taste almost exactly the same?
That's not a That's not even a beer question. You just need to take an economics class. Go take macroeconomics.
You mean to tell me that you found out that Coors Banquet is actually just the underwater version of Coors Light? Oh, sorry.
What did you do? Did you Google something?
Industry secrets.
Sorry.
We have to stop before the cease and desist comes.
Yeah. Fuck them.
So, we are at the end of the show.
But Matt, there's so much more Miller Lite than MGD. What are you talking about?
I will fight them in the street, naked.
I want to see that. Dana White, there's money on the table. So we are at the end of the show here. This discussion has been fantastic. Again, Ben Steffen, Arboretum Trail, thank you so much for having us here in your new space.
Thanks for having me.
We wish you nothing but luck here and prosperity and income and more beers and more collabs.
We will be
more
patronizing frequently.
He talks like he's not coming back. Yeah. You're going to be here fucking 3 days from now.
He's going to be here next week. I'll be back here with a camera in your face. Like, tell everybody you love it. So before we sign off here, I wanted to, again, we've been kind of floating it out there. Ben Steffen, what's on tap and where can you find it? So what I want to know real quick again, just a couple beers are going to be on the opening lineup and your social media, again, so people know where to find you.
Yeah, so social media, Arboretum Trail Brewing Co. on Instagram and Facebook, and then website arboretumtrailbrewingcompany.com, or I'm sorry, arboretumtrailbrewing.com for the website. On tap, so Treetop Sunrise, our blonde with Laurel hops, re-enlisted our flagship IPA. There will be Black Tie Formal, which is a barrel-aged stout. Dad's Hat Rye Whiskey barrel-aged. I'm trying to remember, 12.5%. Saison.
That one's called the Uber request.
Yeah.
Oops, all Ubers.
Cowgirl Candied is going to be on there. Saison's going to be on there. The triple IPA collab with Junior Brothers is going to be on there. The breweries in PA, Pale Ale collab is going to be in there. We did a British Golden Ale with Mondays. That's going to be on tap.
There you go, lager lovers. That's close.
There it is.
There you
Try
go.
that out.
Not really, but
As good as you're getting right now.
depending on how quick this comes, my Make Peace Not War collaboration is going to be on taps called Cascading.
Cool.
That's probably about as much as I can cram out there.
Awesome,
in
man.
the first week.
What a great lineup. Not all IPAs, by the way, so fuck you. Adam, we have some things coming up here. You have some awesome things coming out of the Brew Lab. So what is on tap and where can you find us?
Yeah, we still got Thick Flare, the Pink Starburst. Woo! Milkshake IPA.
Can't do that.
It'll be featured at the National Homebrew Convention, and just bottles available if you want to try it out.
Do he offer you any bottles?
Oh, absolutely, all the time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I work there.
That's cool.
I'm bringing Ben bottles of and we also have the Make Peace Not War that Ben's getting bottles of tomorrow of both of these. Sorry, Ben, I had to work today and didn't get a chance to bottle up before I drove out here.
Suckered him into it.
But I'll get you some. And that's it. I mean, those two are on. Kicking Kitty, our Mocha Porter is still on. I do need to kick that kick,
So slide in the
do that by
DMs.
grabbing some.
Yes.
If you do want any, that's kicking this week for sure. And that's it. We're going to be hitting. We're doing another batch of the cream ale to keep pumping that out there, and then a little bit of Retired Double Agent, our jalapeno pineapple IPA is getting brewed up next week.
Oh,
so,
when's that happen?
boom, next Friday.
Yeah, baby. Right. And it's a banger, too. And so you know what's going on with Ben Steffen down here at Arboretum Trail. All you do is Arboretum Trail Brewing Co. on all social media, Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget about his website, Arboretum Trail Brewing Co. Company. Arboretumtrailbrewing.com.
That's the company part.
Yeah. If you want to know what's going on with Adam down the Brew Lab, it's at @bash_brew on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. He's also on Untapped. And if you know what's going on with the boys down here in the DWTB, we are at decayinwtb on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Do not forget to send in your questions, comments, and whatever to decayinwtb@gmail.com. Do not forget that we have a Redbubble where dad hats are always $19.52. And do not forget to buy your Make Peace Not War beer from Adam.
And
also,
soon to be Ben.
Soon to be Ben. All this money is going to the Ukraine. We need to support the people who need us the most. And if we can do it through the things that we love, like beer and podcasting, we want to do that. So again, follow all of us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and get this beer. So from the lovely new space of Arboretum Trail Brewing to wherever you guys are on this lovely Sunday listening to this episode or Monday watching us, until next time, cheers.
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 Actually, OnlyFans.
Only cans?
Only cans,
Only
baby.
cans.
All right, let's do round two.
Butthole.
Oh.